Hey guys, this is Candle, and welcome back to another gaming pickups video. It's been a while since my last one, a few months. I think that was what, September, something like that. I've got a small stack of games here. This is going to be the last video for the year too, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So a while back, I mentioned I picked up a Plague Tale Innocence and a Plague Tale Requiem for Xbox because I'd wanted to play them and hadn't gotten into it yet, and I dropped it already. There we go. And well, I was disappointed by the copy of Plague Tale Innocence I had gotten because it was the PAL region copy. Well, I finally went on eBay and picked up an ESRB copy, a North American copy. So definitely going to give this a shot at some point. I haven't opened it up yet, but we'll give this a try at some point. Hopefully, I'll like it. I think I will, based on everything I've heard about the two of them. So that is one game. Let's go on to the next. This is another sealed game. I haven't opened this, though I have actually played it because I tried it when it first came out, didn't get into it, but ended up picking up a copy at Best Buy around, a little bit before Black Friday because it was on sale for like $10. And that is, of course, Redfall. This is the, vampire hunting live service game from Bethesda and Arcane Studios, specifically their Austin development studio, which is not like the people that you're most well known for from Arcane for like Prey and Dishonored and stuff like that. That's actually Arcane. I want to say in Montreal. I could be wrong. No, that's Arcane Lyon, I think, in France. Either way, definitely willing to give this another shot. Like I said, it was only $10. That's why I picked up a copy because with them owning Bethesda and Arcane and stuff, I don't think Microsoft is really gonna drop this from Game Pass unless they discontinue it entirely. But you can tell this is actually a launch copy too, because they advertised on the back of the box that it came with a 60 frames per second mode, but they realized, a month or two in advance that, we've already printed these copies that say 60 frames per second on the back, and it's not going to be available at launch, so we better put on a sticker that says, 60 FPS performance mode not available at launch. I think it is in there now, but it wasn't then. So this is probably going to stay sealed because, like I said, it's on Game Pass. I'll give it a try again at some point. I'm just not entirely sure when. I do love me some vampires, but I kind of prefer more sympathetic vampire heroes, more main characters rather than just straight up villains and cannon fodder and stuff like that. So, we'll see. Anyways, the rest of the games here, I have actually played all of them. I've actually beaten all of them too. So we'll go ahead and jump right into those. First up is Assassin's Creed Mirage. You guys know I love Assassin's Creed. I haven't done a Let's Play of an Assassin's Creed game since Syndicate, but I've been keeping up with the franchise. I really love these games, and after Syndicate, they changed the formula where it was much more of like the traditional, not traditional, but just the standard generic Ubisoft open world format where they added in like all these RPG elements and stuff like that, but it never went like whole hog RPG. It was more just like live service and stuff like that. Well, Mirage kind of takes it back to basics and flips it a little bit back closer to the original formula that was tried and tested from Assassin's Creed 2 all the way through Syndicate. So it's still using the same engine, same mechanics a lot of times as like Valhalla, which this is actually a pseudo prequel to. However, you're not exploring like an entire region. Like Origins lets you explore like all of Egypt. Odyssey lets you explore all of Greece and the Aegean, and Valhalla lets you explore all of England and stuff like that. Well, this takes place in and around Baghdad, in modern day Iraq. Back then, it was one of the Persian caliphates, I believe. So this takes place before the Crusades, I think. Yeah, of course, it has to take place before the Crusades. So this is like the first time we've gone back to the Middle East since Assassin's Creed 1, which took place in Jerusalem, Acre, and I'm blanking on the third city. Damascus, I think. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure. But so yeah, this takes place before then. You don't get to really see Masyaf at all, which was a little bit disappointing because when you join the Assassins in Mirage, you do see them starting to build up like a fortress area, kind of like Masyaf, which was like the base in Assassin's Creed 1. So unfortunately, they didn't let you go there, but you do get to see that kind of stuff. And like I said, this is a pseudo prequel to Valhalla. It takes place before Valhalla. It follows Basim, who is kind of a not necessarily minor character. He's a somewhat major character in Valhalla, but he's not the protagonist. He's not, he's not like super major, like you're following him throughout the entire thing. So this explores his backstory a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't go as in depth into his backstory the way I would have liked, because I don't want to say any spoilers for what happens in Valhalla, but there are some really interesting implications for the ancient stuff and the modern day stuff in Valhalla that they're not properly explored in Mirage, unfortunately. And even worse, the major plot twist in Mirage, I saw it coming a mile away. Yeah, it was kind of pretty obvious to me pretty early on, so it was a little disappointing that that it was, went that route, because it felt a little bit cliched. But other than that, it's still really enjoyable game. If you like modern day Assassin's Creed, but you kind of don't like how overwhelming the open world is, I would definitely give Mirage a shot, because like I said, it's much more scaled back. It uses a lot of the same systems and mechanics from Origins through Valhalla, but it's much more focused, because you really only have the one major city. There's like 2 or 3 other minor cities and settlements and stuff like that, but it really is Baghdad and the environs around that. So it's much more close. You're not exploring like an entire geographic region, just like a city and its environs. So definitely give it a shot if you're into that. Next up is a remake of a PS1 game that I've been looking forward to for a good while, and it is Star Ocean: The Second Story R. Now, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Star Ocean. I first started with Till the End of Time, which is Star Ocean 3 on the PS2, and I got a ways into it, but got blocked so hard. I could not, get past a certain point, so I dropped it for the longest time. Eventually, I picked up Star Ocean First Departure and Star Ocean Second Evolution, which was the remake and port of, or enhanced port of Star Ocean 1 and 2 respectively on the PSP. And for the longest time, I could not get into those. And then when they ported the Star Ocean First Departure to the PS4, I tried that. I got into it for a little bit, but then dropped it hard. Well, finally, I went back in, and I didn't really beat it myself. I got almost to the end of it and hit another hard block, and I'm like, I really want to see how this ends. So I ended up watching somebody else, finish it on YouTube. But then I jumped right into Star Ocean Second Story R. This is like a from the ground up full remake of Star Ocean 2. Again, the original release was on the PS1 with Star Ocean: The Second Story. It was actually the first Star Ocean game to be properly localized and released in the West. Because the original Star Ocean was a Super Famicom, Super Nintendo game that did not make it out of Japan. But this came out recently, and just really enjoyed it. And I think I figured out why I had such a hard time with Till the End of Time, with Star Ocean 3 back in the day, was because these games include some really in-depth mechanics for customizing your characters and growing their stats and stuff like that beyond simply leveling up. And I did not remember that in Till the End of Time. So I'm not sure if that's in there or not. Maybe they dropped it, because it was in the first game and it's in the second one. So I would assume, that would be like part of the franchise DNA to keep in there. But you never know. So I am going to go back and play Till the End of Time now that I've beaten this. Really enjoy it, like I said, and it is a gorgeous game. So on the PS1 and again on the PSP, the way it is it's a 3D environment, but all the characters are 2D sprites. And you can kind of see it a little bit here, where they kept that, but just like improve the visuals incredibly well. It looks like really good. And so, like, if you're looking for like a good, JRPG, good action-based combat system, I would definitely give this a shot. So yeah, really good game. I'm really actually hoping that they will, that Tri-Ace will continue. Actually, I'm not sure if Tri-Ace did the remake here. I know Tri-Ace did the original games, and they still make the original games too, as far as I know. But I'm not sure if they did the remake. I'm not really seeing anything on here about who did that beyond just being published by Square Enix. But either way, I'm really hoping that Square goes and does a full remake of Till the End of Time as well, because I've heard that that one's like supposed to be like one of the best in the franchise, and it is a bit rough to go back to now. Because, like I said, it's a PS2 game. I think it was a fairly early PS2 game as well. I'm not sure, but unfortunately, I doubt that we'll get a full remake of Star Ocean to the End of Time, mostly because they did port the PS2 version over to PS4 via the PS2 Classics line, so you can download it that way. And I think it's actually available on PS Plus right now as well. Although I don't know if it's in the Essential, Extra, or Premium tier. But either way, definitely a good game. I'm definitely going to eventually work my way through the rest of the Star Ocean franchise. I have them all now. Like the only one I'm missing beyond the PS4 and I think Switch versions of Second Story R is the original release of Second Story, because I think the Xbox release of The Last Hope, because I have Till the End of Time. I have the Greatest Hits version, which is the 2-disc special edition. And I have Last Hope International, which was the PS3, enhanced PS3 port of the 360 game. I have Integrity and Faithlessness, which was on the PS4. And then I got the Divine Force when it came out last year. But I haven't touched any of those three. So, because I've kind of been playing them in order. Anyways, that is it for Star Ocean. Let's go on to the last PS5 game I got, and that is Sonic Superstars. You guys know I love me some Sonic. It was like one of my first, most nostalgic game series ever, and I really enjoyed Superstars. Like this is a really fun 2D Sonic game. It is more geared towards co-op play, a la like New Super Mario Brothers, U and stuff like that. So like you can play as Sonic. You can play as Knuckles, you can play as Tails, and you can play as Amy as well. And so you can, up to 4 people playing at once, you can play as all of those. Or you can play through them individually, each character. I did end up beating this, really enjoyed it. However, I did not get the true ending, because to do that, you had to get all the Chaos Emeralds, which were a pain to get. And then you have to beat the secondary story mode for the new character, Trip, who is a female echidna. Much like Knuckles. And unfortunately, her story mode is a lot tougher for some ungodly reason. I don't know if it's just her moveset isn't jiving with me or what, but some of the bosses are just insanely tough with Trip, and it's just really weird. So unfortunately, I did not get to see the true ending for this. Maybe eventually I'll watch it on YouTube or something like that, or go back and play it. But either way, still definitely worth picking up, especially if you enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog. The aesthetic's actually really, really nice too. It's kind of got this not quite claymation aspect to it, but almost, and it's not quite the same as like the Lego stuff either that they just put out. So it's kind of, a little bit in between, where it looks almost like vinyl toys, kind of like how the Link's Awakening remake on the Switch looks more like little toys rather than stuff, cartoons or sprites or stuff like that. So it kind of reminds me of that. It is a little sad that we're not seeing a continuation of the aesthetic, the Genesis aesthetic that was, brought to the modern day with Sonic Mania, but even still, really, really enjoyable game. Still looks really good, and really, really good. However, I am glad that I played Sonic Superstars before this next game, because it really blew me away. And that is, of course, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, there's not too much I can say about this, because on the one hand, yes, it is more 2D Super Mario Brothers. There's not too much more you can say about that hasn't been said before. However, there are some new interesting things. So the whole tagline of the subtitle Wonder, and you can see a little wonder flower here, is in every level you find these little flowers here that whenever you touch them introduces some new gameplay mechanic or gimmick for that level, and it really turns things on their heads. Like sometimes Mario will suddenly be like 10 feet tall, but he's like still got the same slim proportion, so he's like everything's like really tall but really thin. Sometimes you've got pipes that are bunching up and moving like worms, and you have to navigate around that. Sometimes you've got piranha plants that are dancing and singing. Sometimes you've got sometimes it actually, turns things on its head and makes you wander, basically puts you on the side, on the background, and makes you wander around like it's now a top-down game or something like that. And so like every level has a new gimmick, new mechanic, and it never really overstays its welcome. However, there is one thing that Nintendo is still insisting on doing with these games that I absolutely hate, and that is the fact that they gate your progress by making you, get some kind of collectible from completing a certain number of challenges and stuff like that. In past games, they've made you get coins and stuff like that. Well, for this one, it's Wonder Seeds. You have to get a certain number of Wonder Seeds before you can unlock the next set of levels. And on the one hand, I get it. Like, you don't want people just running too quickly through stuff like that. And so you need to gate their progress. But on the other hand, it's really annoying because some of these levels can be like really painful, really, really tough to beat. Sometimes I just want to move on to the next game. I've got so many games to play. You guys see this entire wall behind me. I've got so many games to play, and I don't have all the greatest amount of time to just sit there and grind out a few, Mario levels when I'm ready to move on to the next game, but I want to beat this first. Anyways, that is it for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Really, really wonderful. I honestly don't know where they're going to go next for 2D Mario, so I don't know when or we'll even get another 2D Mario. So, anyways, that is it for that. And now we're on to the final game, which is another remake of a classic game, and one I had been waiting for the longest time. This is another game that was heavily nostalgic for me, and that would be Super Mario RPG, which it's interesting they dropped the actual subtitle, because when this originally came out on the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, it was Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. And in fact, where is it? Right here. So yes. So here's the original cartridge, and you can see, right there, the subtitle, Legend of the Seven Stars. Now it's still the same game, same story and everything, but they've completely overhauled the graphics. The original game used pre-rendered 3D assets, kind of similar to what Rare did with Donkey Kong Country. Except this time around, it's all real-time 3D. It's all absolutely gorgeous. They've really expanded things visually a lot, because a lot of the original maps were kind of just set in this blue void beyond the environments of the map. And here they actually, even though you can still only explore the original confines of the original maps, you can see beyond the edges of the maps, which is really, really nice. It helps flesh out the world a bit. And still a really, really good game. I've never actually beaten the Super Nintendo version. I tried to a while back and ended up giving up because I was just pressed for time, and I ended up watching somebody else finish it. But this game is just, so heavily nostalgic for me. It's one of those games that I would play at my on my cousin's Super Nintendo every time we went to visit my aunt and uncle in Chicago. And it was this and Super Mario World and Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo, which is actually Final Fantasy 6. But so this game was just heavily nostalgic for me. So I promised myself, since I never beat the Super Nintendo version, I would in fact beat this one. And lo and behold, I actually beat this one. I don't know if it was actually just easier or what, but I actually did beat this one, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was great to go back through it. Great to listen to, Yoko Shimomura's amazing soundtrack, which has been fully remastered too and reorchestrated. So yeah, just really, really good game. I'm kind of hoping that they will continue remaking more Mario RPGs. I know we're getting a remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door sometime this next year. I'm hoping they'll go back and redo the original Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga games and stuff like that. But anyways, that is it for now. Sorry, my voice is getting worse. I'm actually dealing with a cold right now. So that is it from now. That is the last game for now. Hopefully, in this next year, I will be able to start collecting more retro games again, which I have gone lax on over the last couple years. The biggest reason why that happened again is because I just had all these extra purchases I had to make. I rebuilt my computer last year. I put a new graphics card in it this year. I got a couple new TVs. I had to get dental work done. I've had to do all this extra stuff, and it's just been, a really not really stressful couple of years. It's just been harder on my wallet than I would have liked. Because I don't make a lot of money and most of my disposable income usually goes to games. But unfortunately, when I have all these other things, I couldn't, spend as much on games as I would have liked. And it was everything I could do just to keep up on the new releases that were coming out. And you may have noticed, like, there's still a couple glaring releases that I haven't bought or played from the last few months. Like, I didn't get Spider-Man 2 yet. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, although I'm getting that on PC, so there's not going to be a physical release. I've been waiting for that to go on sale, and it's finally on sale for the Steam Winter sale. That's only 10% off. What the hell? Anyways, I'm probably going to be getting that here before the sale ends and playing through that. Diablo 4, unfortunately, I don't think they did a physical release at all. I did eventually grab that on Battle.net when it was on sale for like almost 50% off. Played through it, really enjoyed it and stuff like that. Anyways, that is it for now. I will see you guys sometime in the new year. My voice will hopefully be better because I will not be sick then. And hopefully we'll have some retro games. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Oh, and before I go, I do want to mention I am considering coming back and doing a few Let's Plays sometime in the new year. I know that Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 are getting remasters here in February. And I would like to, at some point, do a proper Let's Play of Tomb Raider 3, considering that was one of the games that broke me and caused my first major hiatus from YouTube, which was like a 2-year hiatus, I think, a 2-year gap. So I'm considering coming back for that. There's also another project I'm thinking of doing that I don't want to say too much about in case it never actually happens, but it is a massive undertaking. It requires a lot more effort than I've put in pretty much anything else, including the game reviews I've done in the past, which have been lost to time because I pulled them, including like everything wrong with Final Fantasy video I did in the past, which I always wanted to do more of those, but I just couldn't drum up the effort. And anyways, that is it for now. So now I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.